I'm going to do a quick guide to answering the 12-mark questions for the AQA Religious Studies GCSE exam. This has come up a lot with my class and a lot online. So the first thing I'm going to do is have a look at the AQA mark scheme that they produced for the exam last year. Right, to begin with, focus on the question. You know in a 12 marker that you're going to get given a statement. So here's one from the Buddhist paper last year. You need to evaluate the statement, and it says in your answer you should refer to Buddhist teaching, give reasoned arguments to support the statement, reasoned arguments to support a different point of view, and reach a justified conclusion. If you have a look at the Christianity paper, you will see, of course, you need to refer to Christian teaching, and in the themes paper it will give you a statement on one of your themes. Reasoned arguments in support, reasoned arguments against, refer to arguments, may refer to non-religious arguments. Okay, so that's where your religion comes in there. One of the things I want to draw your attention to here is this S. Alright, and this S. Give reasoned arguments, plural, to support this statement, and reasoned arguments, plural, to support a different point of view. Often what people get mixed up with is agree and disagree. An examiner's report, they bring this up. They said the responses were all right, but were restricted by the approaches that we did. So a better approach, and this is for the examiners themselves, all right, is to follow the rubric given on the 4 bullet points of the question itself. Refer to a teaching, give reasoned arguments to support the statement, give reasoned arguments to support a different point of view, and reach a justified conclusion. And they've put themselves, the key word here is arguments, in the plural. You're invited to supply an ordered chain of reasoning which goes beyond single arguments and which helps to reach a justified conclusion. Alright, so I've been using Dad Boy in my 12 markers just as a structure, but one of the things I've been trying to tell my students is it is not an exhaustive or restrictive structure. It is just there as a memory aid. You do not have to follow that in that order. It's just there to remind you to define the argument, make a statement that agrees with the argument, and then this bit is actually tricky. You can see today we made a bit of a change, all right? Originally we said disagree with the argument, but that's quite misleading. Perhaps the best way of putting it would be to refer to a different argument. Because I teach Buddhism and Christianity, I've got the B to remind them to put in a biblical or a Buddhist teaching, and then O is any other points of view, that's your plural side of it, the S, all right? And then you develop your conclusion and reach a logical, justified conclusion at the end. Many people answer these questions in the first person, saying I agree or I disagree. You don't need to do that, and it can be misleading, especially in the religions paper. The religions paper is asking you what a Christian, or in my case a Buddhist, believes about a situation. So right, some Christians or most Christians or other Christians believe this, and then other Christians believe that. You don't need to come up with an argument that disagrees with the statement. You need to come up with a different point of view, and if you can, link it in with the teaching. That's the important thing. So here's an example question we did today. Afterlife is a good way to get people to behave and help others, and of course you've got to evaluate the statement. So in blue I put arguments in support, and in red that present an alternative point of view. So we've put Christians believe in an afterlife which is largely regarded as being a place for reward of a good life, heaven, or punishment for a bad life, hell. Some Christians would agree that the promise of heaven is a good way to get people to help others, because Christ said, every time you help the least of my people, you help me. This shows that Christians will be rewarded for good actions. An alternate point of view, a different point of view, some Christians might argue that the concept of heaven should not be the reason we help others. If we only help because we are looking for a reward, then that does not make us a good person. Christians should help those in need out of common human decency and not to get a reward. Their intentions are important. It might be that selfish actions are punished in the afterlife anyway, so showing genuine compassion as Jesus taught is the best bet. Now, I wonder what you would give for that as if you were to mark it. To be honest, the marking ticks that we've got on the board there are actually quite generous. I would suggest that that is a 6 or a 7. There is only one reference to teaching. There is only one argument in each section. One argument for agree, one argument for an alternate point of view. But it does sort of reach a justified conclusion, and it does reference Christianity. So if we go back to this table, which you're probably all familiar with, or I hope you are, you will see here that in the 4 or 6 mark section, there is a reasoned consideration of a point of view, a logical chain of reasoning drawing on knowledge and understanding of relevant evidence, or recognition of different points of view, each supported by relevant reasons and evidence. So I would suggest it's somewhere, the one we just looked at, between a 6 and a 7, because there is a clear reference to religion and religious teaching in there. But of course, what we want to aim at, what everyone should aim at the top, is getting marks 10 to 12. Well-argued response, reasoned consideration of different points of view, yes, logical chains of reasoning leading to judgments, supported by knowledge and understanding of relevant evidence and information. And religion is at the core of it. It's amazing how many people seem to forget about religion when they're doing the themes paper in particular. Hopefully this helps. Ask me any questions and hopefully I can answer them. Cheers.